Hello, this is Grandma's Gone Gaming. I'm bringing you episode 2 of the November 2016 Minecraft Hardcore Challenge by Michael Deering. We are doing a Mesa color build challenge this time. Can't leave the Mesa, standard rules apply otherwise, and we're just supposed to build something pretty with all the colors. And I'm still thinking about that. I have a couple of ideas, but I just kind of want the Mesa to speak to me about it. Tell me what it is I'm supposed to build. But for now, I have been in this little hole here where I came in. I'm going to go ahead and just take these back and go out and kind of just start doing that. I don't think this just doesn't feel like where I want to be. I just kind of want to go see what else is around. I'm kind of hoping actually there's gold in here and gold out here, but I can't get it yet. But I don't want to just like spend my time going down deep yet because I haven't found what I want. I'm going to grab some of these while we're here and a little bit of this red sand. Anyway, I in my episode 1 was telling you why I like building. I like building things in the Sims games. I like building things in Minecraft. I like building things in real life. Now, I can't do... Yeah, look at that. I can't do that much anymore. There's not much I can do at all physically anymore because of rheumatoid arthritis, which is quite advanced, which keeps me pretty much tied to a walker and to my computer chair. But I can still think of things and do things, and which makes it really another reason to do things on the computer, because it keeps me... Okay, what is that? That was the hardened clay. All right. It just keeps me going. Okay, now there is a hole that goes down, but I would like to look for and see if I can find a Bryce, a Mesa Bryce. I have no idea if there might be one here in the area that has the beautiful spikes. They are so pretty. Lots of places to go down. So we moved to Alaska when I was about 2 in 1951, and my brother was just little. He's 2 years, about a year and a half younger than I am, and now we're both old. And so when we settled in Valdez, at long last, after trip on the Alcan, which at that time was nothing but mud and junk. If you've never read about the Alcan, that's the Alaska Canadian Highway. Alaska Canada, I think it's actually called, not Canadian. And if you've never read about how it was in 1949, 1950s, all the way clear up really into the, oh gosh, when did we move? The 70s. It finally got finished. Well, there's something else that I'm looking for right there. Mine shaft. So this may be where I settle. We'll see. Anyway, I think my mom and I drove down the Alcan. My dad was by then deceased, and I had my kids. I'm going to start collecting this stuff. And that was in 1978, and the pretty much the ends of the highway were being paved at that time. What do we have? We have some coal. We have more railroad stuff. Oh, good, some powered rail. An iron bar. Okay, what else? Oh, yay. Okay, let's just kind of drop off some things here, because I'm going to take that chest. Take that. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm going to get it that way. All right, so I'm going to need to make room for that. There we go. No, don't want that. There we go. That's the cart. There's the chest. And start collecting some string. I don't want the granite. I'm going to stick completely with the clay. All right. So, okay, so yeah. We drove up the Alcan. I'm going to leave the wood for now. I don't need it. I want to find where I want to settle first. Let's see if this goes any further. I have found that sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. It's kind of, where would I want to go down and see? Could even be over that way. Is there another opening down here? Just that one. Let's go ahead and take a look over here. So yeah, we after a long there, yeah, it is. That is more of the mine shaft right over there. When they settled, Daddy immediately started taking jobs. Oh, let's get that sand out of here. As a carpenter and a cabinet maker, which in a pioneer town, which was built on gold rush, people settling there quite a few years before that. Okay, do I want to go down there, or do I want to go see what's in here? Let's just do this first. Let's mark that right there. There we go. Iron. Yay. Okay, yeah, I think maybe we'll just stay here, at least for now. So he began to make a name for himself with building things, and it wasn't very long before, what do I want to get rid of now? More of the, oh, not that one. I want that one. There, I want to get rid of that one. Okay. Before he began to be called on, he also was a very, very good, fix-it man. He could fix just about anything. He had a good knowledge of mechanics. What he did in the Army, he was in the World War II, and he was in the mechanized division of I can't remember who his general was, but they were traveling behind Patton, and so he was in the mechanized division. They transported things. They saw their share of fighting, but he learned anything he didn't already know about mechanics. He learned when he was in the Army, and he also learned about how to drive ambulances, and he was a very good driver always, and he drove the officers around and all that kind of stuff. And then he fixed things, of course, because, anything. He could just fix anything. So he had a lot of experience from being over there in the war. And so he, like I said, he got a good name for that. And kind of the first year that we were there, we didn't have a place to live yet. Money was short. They were just hoboing it, basically. And there was no way that he could actually, take the truck out to do a job if we were living in it. So what he did was they had an old Army tent that they had been using along the way to camp into, the old straight sides with the kind of the peaked top. And he made us a combination tent and cabin. He took, I think probably plywood, but it might not have been plywood over there at the time, probably planks. And he made a wainscoting, basically, at the bottom. He made us a half wall, and the tent part was on the outside. And then, the top was still just the tarp. And so he, okay, I think I'll just leave that like that. There's more stuff over there. All right, I think I want to use some of the gold as we go along. So I think I'm going to just pull up here, make a little home in here so I can make a chest and kind of get things organized. And I need to watch, we're still on day one. Okay. And so then they had beds, like bunk beds around the sides of the tent. I think it was a 20 by 20 tent. And we stayed on out on one of the side roads, which later became actually now the highway goes into Valdez, into the new Valdez, through that area. At the time, it was called Mineral Creek Road. and Mineral Creek is one of the feeder creeks that runs down into the Valdez Bay. And in the summertime, there's lots of good fishing out that way, and it's a great country, great place to live. Okay, so they built this place for the winter, and we lived in there. Mom had a little wood cook stove in there, and with a chimney going out through the roof, and all the things that you may have read about pioneer living, that kind of stuff. And we had some neighbors, which became our best friends. Mom and Dad were best friends with the parents of those kids, and they had kids just about our age also. And that'll give me 4 chests right there. Okay. And so we kids kind of grew up together, went to school together from then on until the earthquake in 1964, which is another huge story. So what would happen after that first winter, I'll just put junk stuff in here, is that we needed a place to live. And so what Daddy did over the years, many times while I was growing up, was, let's see, where am I going to put all this stuff? Right here. Hardened clay. That's red sand. I'll put that over there. More red sand. He would contract out to fix up a house for somebody. And then, like, they would be going down to what was then called the States, because we weren't a state, or to the Southern 48 or whatever. Later on, we were a state. That's what it was called. Okay, I need to get this stuff cooking. And so for the winter, then we would live in the house that he was, fixing up a new kitchen, putting in cupboards, building a new bathroom, building bedrooms, whatever it was that needed to be done. Then he would do that over the winter time. And it became pretty much a way of life for us for a long time. We just would live that way. And then in the summertime, we would either camp, or I think eventually we had a trailer, a small trailer with a lean-to. We lived in quite a few of those over the years. And in our second summer, let's just put that away also, we lived in a little trailer out 2 miles outside of town on the Richardson Highway outside of Old Valdez. And now after the quake and everything, we couldn't live out there because it was all hollow underneath. But people now are living back out that way, and they have done quite a bit of stuff out there, a whole great big subdivision out that way. And that's about halfway around from New Valdez to the, I'm going to need a couple more of these here, a couple more of those, to the pipeline terminal, which is where my brother works. Still, he's still up there. And then that was our land. That was it. We home-sited. We had a home site, not a homestead. We had 7.5 acres. Was it? No, 11.5 acres. You had to have, I think it was 25 or maybe even 50 acres to make a homestead. And Daddy didn't want to farm. You had to farm part of the homestead if you wanted. I gotta find out about the darkness here. It is dark. I thought it was just watching for the daytime to come back rolling around. And I probably should do something about this. All right, I already did. Nothing can get through there. Okay. And I really need to start a farm, and I have not, of course, gotten any seeds. I can do pumpkins, though. Don't know if I can find any chickens. Well, I'm okay for the moment. I can always go take down some more trees. I can do that probably in the beginning of the next episode. Anyway, so we lived in those houses, and then in future years, sometimes when we couldn't, it would be too snowy for us to live outside of. I just want to make a couple of iron things here, including a bucket. I think at least one bucket. And try to find some water. sometimes in the winter, especially after we kids got up into school age, we had to live in town in the winter. Not sure if I want to make 2 of those or not, just 1 I think for now, and I can start picking up the gold. And then I'm going to start doing some armor, I think. And there was a mercantile store in town called Gilson's Grocery and Mercantile, I think, whatever. It was, general store, but it was fairly large. And at that time, everything was shipped up there by, the large steamships. Let's see, how many am I going to have here? That's plenty. So things were sometimes old by the time we got them, stale, whatever, but we were always glad to get what we could get. Nothing was basically fresh. So Mom and Dad, out on our land out there, began to grow at least a few things. Mom always planted strawberries because her dad planted strawberries, and she knew what to do with those. And we had things like radishes and carrots and lettuce and, basic kitchen garden stuff. Okay, we have that. Let's do the shoes. And so we had extra stuff to eat that way. And Daddy would work for produce from the stores, and then also for other foods, depending on how much work he did. He helped build parts of the stores, worked for the owners of the stores, building their special houses, that kind of stuff. So we didn't always have a lot of fancy stuff. In fact, one winter we did stay out there on the land in a small, I think it was about a 20 by 20, maybe a 30 by 30. No, I think it was 20 by 20 house. Oops, that's not the one I wanted to take out. Just one room and a wood stove in the middle. Mom did laundry in tubs, and we kids got to take turns in the iron tubs. And beds were around the walls. Seems like we always had places with beds around the walls. And Daddy was always in the middle of building us a new place. Yeah. So I think I'll also make a set of shears. Yeah, okay, I can do that here. There we go. And don't think I'll take that out with me right now, but I might want to use that after a while. I was in the middle of him building all the time. And then in the winter, there was, in the bad winters, there were the apartments that were up above Gilson's Mercantile. And sometimes Daddy would do work that would get us a room, a small apartment, usually just a 1-bedroom. And then again, we kids had beds around the walls in the living room. And this, that wasn't that much different than a lot of other people that lived there either. Sometime if you ever get a chance, look up some pictures of old Valdez, Alaska, and you'll see it was very, very pioneer. Very, very pioneers. So that's the way I grew up. We didn't have much of anything, but we had a very good life. We had parents that loved us, parents that taught us their work ethics. We learned how to do things ourselves. We helped Daddy when there was building to be done and he needed help with things. We kids were handy, and we had learned a lot of the tools of his trade, what we needed to do to help him with, don't use that up, I don't need to be using that up right now, with different things. And Mom would help. And when we weren't working and doing stuff with him, and sometimes he would also go out on the fishing boats in the summertime to earn extra money that way. Because he had lots of friends that owned their own boats, and we go out in the commercial fishing trade, and that, of course, is a very hard way to earn your money. You can get a lot of it at the end of a season, but not always very early on in the season. And so, and is the freezing Alaska water. Yeah, not a necessarily good thing to be having to work through. Let's leave all that in there, make a few more torches here. So I can do get down a little deeper, but it won't be in this episode. We're probably just about at the end of the night. Whoops. There we go. Put these in here. I'm not necessarily going to just go through right now and cook that up. All right, I have enough stuff here. I think I might make one more iron axe to go with me when I go out, which will be in the next episode. And it is day 2 now. So when I come back, we'll go on with that, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about living in Valdez and some of the other things about learning how to build and learning that I loved building and doing crafting things and stuff like that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in episode number 3, and bye for now.